All right, thank you. Just a little bit of an introduction of myself. Exploration geologist, 20 years experience. Worked in about 20 different countries, lived in about 5. Been involved in copper exploration for a long time. A few greenfields discoveries in Mongolia, Southeast Asia. And really the story at Xanadu, we're a copper and gold exploration company focused on the South Gobi. We have a new discovery which is located in the same jurisdiction as the large Oyu Tolgoi deposit. It's a project that has a rare characteristics of being shallow. It's got some grade, and it's now getting some scale. So it's a unique opportunity. We believe it's one of the premier exploration projects here at the moment because it not only combines the grade with the good shallow profile, but it's got an easy development pathway being on the doorstep of the world's biggest consumer. And in the background, we have a very advanced portfolio of projects. It was a very counter-cyclic approach, get in at the bottom of the market when a lot of the major companies were distracted or some of them even flirting with bankruptcy. The ability to pick up projects is really what you need to do, be leveraged to commodity uptick when you're having discoveries. And that's really the objective of the company. And more importantly, having involved in a lot of discoveries, it's the important is having the team together, to deliver that. And that's an important part of what Xanadu is. Xanadu, the value for what explorers, it's at the drill bit. That's how you manage. That's how you sort of measure success in this industry. Last year for us, second best drill hole out there for gold. We're a copper company. Top of there is SolGold. Very similar numbers there. You can see the real difference there is the depth. Drilling these 650 metre intercepts over 1% copper from about 16 metres depth. Many of our peers are drilling them quite deeper, and that's really the trend of exploration at the moment. We know. Anyone saw Brent's talk this morning. Exploration's getting deeper. It's getting harder. We have an opportunity here that's starting from surface and certainly is extending to depth. You look at porphyries, they have vertical extents of 1 kilometre, and we're proving that. We're an Australian listed company, soon to be TXX listed. At 20 cents, we've got a market cap just a bit over $100 million Australian, and a very good team, very good, strong institutional register, and that's been supportive through tough times, allowed us to pick up the project and a pretty aggressive drill program. This is really what it's about. We see graphs showing supply and demand of copper, but it's really, the thing we need to focus on in the copper space is supply destruction. There's very few projects coming through, and I think, over the last months, as we put this graph together, you can probably cross a few of those deposits off. But the key thing is we look at that. We see now the head grade of copper deposits globally is about 0.5. Copper deposits that are being built today are at 0.2, 0.3. And what we know today and what we discover today won't be ready in the next 10 years. Copper projects are typically capital intensive. They're very large projects. This is the real issue coming. And then when we look at a lot of the deposits, everyone's exploring quite deep, but the grade profile you need for those deposits, like Wafi, like Resolution, is very high, and that hurdle of 1.5%. And having been involved in porphyry exploration for a long time, they're real outliers in this world. Most porphyries sit at that 0.5% grade, and when you have them at surface, they make fantastic deposits. And what the story of Xanadu and particularly Hamagtai is, we're going to show we've got those. We've got a project that's got scale, it's got low strip ratio, it's got the right grades, but it's increasing with depth and grade. This is an interesting thing. I don't see a lot of growth projects out at the moment. One of the key things we look at is One Belt, One Road. This is big news in the part of the world I come from, particularly in Asia. It's exciting for the metals industry because this is going to be where a lot of demand's going to come from. The construction of this is happening now, and Mongolia sits right in the middle of it. And this is a mineral province, the 4th most endowed. Really only the last decade of exploration. It's got some super giant deposits, but vastly underexplored. And I'd argue, despite some of the storied history of some of this region, in the last 10 years, one of the biggest projects ever been built is Oyu Tolgoi, and that sits right in the middle of this One Belt, One Road. And that's because, not only is this, these are big deposits, but they're very gold rich too. So we look for provinces, and when you look for copper, you have a byproduct of gold. It's an incredibly good step. So when we look at these graphs, we see multiple periods of porphyry development through that zone, but a lot of yellow dots, so a lot of gold. Where we are in Mongolia, as I said, we have a fairly big portfolio of projects. The focus is our Hamagtai project, located in the South Gobi region. We also have the Red Mountain in the eastern part of the South Gobi belt, and also an early stage exploration in the northern part of the belt. In terms of logistics, we can see Hamugtai in the centre there. It's on a fully permitted mining licence. We have access to power. We have a water resource. We're only 70 kilometres north of a very large coke and gold deposit, and only an hour's drive north of Oyu Tolgoi. And this is part of it. This infrastructure is happening. I used to go to this project 15 years ago with a former explorer. It used to be a 15, 20-hour drive. Now it's a 5-hour drive on a paved road. Infrastructure is happening in this part of the world, and it's happening drastically. You can see there within 200 kilometres of the Chinese border, several smelters within 100 kilometres of that border. It's a fantastic place to have discoveries and build mines. And in this part of the world, we've had Oyu Tolgoi now, which was discovered in 2006-7. Now it's the third biggest copper mine in the world. Will be the biggest underground mine next couple of years. We've also got the Savin Savarga development. So I don't know too many places in the world within a 200 square area. You've got 2 large copper mines being constructed, fully funded. And in play, and then also you've got railways being built, infrastructure coming in. So just a little bit on Hamugtai. When you look for porphyry projects, we looked around for a long time. You need to control a district. These deposits occur in clusters. It's not one big deposit, particularly the gold-rich ones. It's about finding several of them, putting them together, and creating a significant resource. We've got shallow resources here, established resources. Multiple 200-metre intercepts now from 1% from surface. Now we're drilling some 900-metre intercepts. So you look at the resource base that we got in the project in 2015, it's advancing quite rapidly. Geology is quite simple. Got an area about 30 square kilometres, sits on a fully permanent mining licence. The upside of this is really what attracted us, that there was established resources, but you look at this district, it covers about 30 square kilometres, and we've only touched about 10% of it to date. So a little bit of the background. This is a project that was explored by 2 very exploration companies previously. And like a lot of this, it's about exploration. You've got interrupted changes in cycles, seismic shifts in the market. QGX was one of the first explorers. Ivanhoe got involved in the project 2001. Spent about $40–50 million direct exploration, focused on some of the shallow outcropping mineralisation. And then in 2008, the project, with the discovery of Oyu Tolgoi, exploration got disrupted, and then in 2014, Xanadu was able to approach and pick up the project, collect that data, 200 million tonnes at 0.6 copper at surface. But what really attracted us was the fact of the exploration upside. And this is the district you're looking at. This is an easy place to explore. You don't have people, you don't have rainforest, you don't have trees, you don't have mountains. And we can drill everywhere, truck-mounted rigs, you can move across the ground very rapidly. And you can see the deposits there, Stockwork Hill, Copper Hill, White Hill, very low strip ratio resources, high grades that come to surface. And you can look at the cores of those systems. There's multiple intervals of 200 metres over 2% copper equivalent. Very high gold. Typically, those high grade zones are 0.7, 2.5 grams gold. So, it's a great near-term opportunity. We'll be putting out a resource estimate on this, an updated one very shortly, and that's really going to step into a PEA. We believe there's a critical mass here. It's got the scale, it's got the grade, and we'll be stepping into a PEA here on this central project. But outside that, you can see the central area. We're quickly accruing these. Our target rate of conversion from what is a target through to resources is going to be quite rapid with this project. But you can see those red areas there, extensions. But outside that, most of this district sits under shallow sand. And there's 3 new centres there, or 5 new centres there now in the green that we're targeting. And Zara is a new discovery where a couple of weeks ago we announced a 920-metre intercept of continuous copper. So in this district, 19 targets, 5 of them been tested, 4 of them are mineralised, and there's a few more to go. So it's quite exciting. As we say in this business, it's about testing them and moving rapidly through them and understanding where they are. This is the Zara Discovery. You can see there, continuous copper over 900 metres. It's a good discovery. It's a great start. Shows at this scale. We've been following that up with 2 new holes that are likely to come out in the coming weeks. That's a kilometre apart, those 2 holes. One's a scissor and one's a step out. So now this is a large system, and you can see there it's concealed under about 20 metres of sand. The anomaly itself, 1.5 kilometres long, 500 metres wide, first drill hole through it, 900 metres. And more importantly, we need to get that to surface. So, some recent bedrock drilling up dip from this has notified a gold-rich zone with several intervals of gold, which we see in the oxide cap of these porphyries. So it's quite exciting. As we move to the northeast, we believe this system will come to surface, and you can fit a lot of copper in an anomaly that's 1.5 kilometres, 500 metres wide. And really, this is what it's about. We see Oyu Tolgoi. This is the same scale. Hamugtai to the south. You need the licence to go deep, you need those surface resources, and that's what this is about. We're de-risking the project by showing that there's a scalable project here with good grade shallow. That gives us a licence to start drilling in this district. We know grades are increasing. We're seeing a combination of some very deep breccias, very high grades, and it's, as I said, it's very aggressive exploration and focused on that, and it's successful. I don't have time, but you can come to our booth and discuss it. But we also have a portfolio. Red Mountain's another district, multiple intervals, 200 metres of 1% copper plus from surface, and very high grade tourmaline breccias. If you heard the Chicana story this morning, very similar scenario to here. So thanks very much. It's as I said, we're pretty aggressive on the ground at the moment. We're drilling all, and costs about $150. So it's all about those success and testing these 19 targets, and hopefully building a very, very big copper resource base here as a lot of people start looking for them. So thank you very much.